Good morning. I hope you're having a happy Friday. I am. I got a question that was very interesting. Does the NPD stricken individual, aka the narcissistic individual, change? Do they evolve with the next person? And my answer is yes, but it's not in the way that you think. So I'm going to pull back a story from the first boyfriend, long-term boyfriend that I was with. And when I say long-term, I mean I was with this dude for almost 7 years, right? But I was young. And he never really got his stuff together because he was still kind of infantile. So that's why we didn't get married. But believe me, I'm glad I didn't marry him, right? I actually left my hometown, and it was very funny. I was gone a year, and then the next year, he ended up with another woman. But this long-term boyfriend was 7 years older than me, right? And so I found it amazing that when I came back to visit my hometown and he wanted to see me, that he was engaged to a woman who was 15 years younger than him. Now, yeah, you do the math. She was still a child and he was pushing 40. But he was engaged. He wanted to have a kid with her, or she wanted him to have a kid with him. Who knows? But when we were together, he didn't want any children. When we were together, he didn't want to get married because he didn't believe in it. You know, he liked what we had, and I was okay with it at the time because, like I said, I was young. But with the next woman, he didn't want her to leave. So he had to kind of change his tune because when I left, I was still young then, but I knew what I wanted in life, and I knew I couldn't stay with him because, long story short, he was a scrub. I mean, he was in his mid-30s, still living at home, still working like a retail job, even though he was very intelligent, and he actually went from IT to retail because he didn't like the work, he says. But he didn't finish school. So with the new woman, to keep her in place, he had to marry her. He also had to have a kid with her, even though they were still living with his parents. Now, you're asking, did he change? Yeah, he changed. He didn't evolve for good, but he changed because he knew that he was kind of on the low tier of the dating pool. And so the woman who wanted him made demands and he gave in to them, right? Because he needed to have someone in place, someone who was stable, someone who was constant. So he learned from me that if I don't do what this woman says, she'll leave me, and then I won't have, I guess, the attention, the adoration for a while. And I need to get someone who is way younger than me so they can be enamored by my old age, aka I can be the father figure, which is what this woman was. Now, when I returned to my hometown to see him, and this was the last time I see him decades ago, I was doing very well. I had my own money, I had my own career, and he was still working retail. And even though he was engaged at the time, even though he knew that I was seeing someone else, he still tried to talk to me. He still tried to talk about the old times, and he was disappointed that I forgot stuff about him that I felt like was irrelevant, but I hadn't seen him in a year. I found that narcissistic people don't change in the way that we think. Narcissistic people basically are, I want to say, like trap spiders. You know, they study their prey from underground, right? And some prey has different pressure. I know I'm using a spider analogy, but bear with me. Everybody's different. And trap spiders, they have this habit of hiding underground and waiting for vibrations above, so then they can snatch their prey and bring them down and eat them, right? Well, I find that NPDs and narcissistic people are like that. If someone gets away, if the prey, quote unquote, gets away, then they have to recognize, okay, that was an ant, that was a fruit fly, that was a beetle. Now I know that vibration, so I'm ready for it. Instead of just like, going to therapy and getting healthy and getting healed, they basically just learn other people's tics and keep themselves educated so they can still collect, not evolve in a healthy, formidable manner. This is because, in my opinion, that it's easier to learn more rules of the game than stop playing the game and going outside and healing yourself and facing yourself. So they would rather basically slap on mods on a jalopy car than just get rid of the car and buy a brand new one. So in the grand scheme of things, I do not think that narcissistic people, NPDs, change. They just take notes on how they pissed off the former person that they lost, make a note not to do it again. And then when they move on to the new person, they know, okay, well, the previous person that I vampirically used saw my tells when I said a certain lie, or when I didn't call a certain time, or when I hid this other person from them at this specific time. So with the new person, I can't do that. So if the new person texts me at a certain time, I better answer it. Now, if it's any other time, then maybe I can get away with it. They study us. They study healed and normal people. Now, you may ask, why would they just basically study us from all of their previous failures? So here's the thing, people. I am not a life coach, but I am a narcissistic survivor, and I feel that it is my duty to tell you what I've been through so you don't have to go through what I've been through. It's preemptive strike. Now, back in the day, people say, narcissism, blah, blah, blah. That didn't even exist. This is just now. No, narcissism always existed. It's always existed. It's just that we didn't have the information and the network to tell each other about it. I mean, abused spouses, abused children, horrible families. That's nothing new. Now we just have a name for the behavior. Now we know what it is. And since we know what it is and we know traits of it, when we see it in the wild, we're like, nope, nope, nope. That is a lion in that bush. I am not crossing this river because there it is. And of course, when you have enough, I guess you can say, gazelles, that see the lions start to starve. So they have to think of new tactics. So that's why they're studying us the way that you think. It's because so many narcissistic people are being outed and they're being avoided. If you are in the sphere of the level up community, be it whatever race that you are, so many women who are life coaches are telling women to up your standards, to not sleep with men right away, to secure the bag. They're telling the games that a lot of PUAs and pickup artists play. These people are narcissists. And despite what you say about these women are actually giving you information about how to avoid a narcissist or how to use one. And a lot of narcissistic men are not feeling this. In the other realm, you have men who are warning other men about narcissistic women, right? And telling them what they should be looking for and what they should do. Now, I don't believe in a lot of what these guys say, but the whole point is when it comes to relationship factor, there are so many people on this sphere of communication that are warning everyone about narcissism. So narcissists has to up their game. They have to stay relevant, because when you avoid these people for so long, when they're isolated for so long, they become aggressive. They need that adoration and attention. And depending on what kind of person they are and how desperate they are, is how they'll lash out. So yes, narcissistic people do change, but they only change to get their needs filled because their old game no longer works. I hope that helps. You have a good Friday, and thank you.